Welcome to my MCU rundown. This is going to be the best that you've ever gotten for one film. I'm basically packing 3 to 5 films in one with great storylines. We're going to be covering things like, as we see here, Captain America, Doom, Iron Man, and Kane as the 3 main catalysts for this video. Inspired by the MCU, I wanted to share my script, but I'm not going to read it directly. It's more of a wholeheartedly conversation that I want to have with you guys. And hopefully, you guys are entertained and willing to share your thoughts and opinions on what is possible. I think that they have built an amazing universe, and I'm going to spoil the whole series leading up to the new movies that are coming out in 2026. We're going to start off with a discussion about Infinity War, Captain America, and the time traveling. He is set out to go back and put all the stones away. But there's way more to that story of what he did, and we will explore that in this movie idea, as well as Iron Man's time of creating time travel. These are the 2 big things in the film where you're getting to see Captain America go back into time in different eras, depending on, the plot, which I don't want to spoil fully. He's going to be trying to right the wrongs in the scenario. At that same time, he will be introduced to things like Kane and Doctor Doom separately, not knowing that they will have their own battle as well in this film, and they will have to choose sides. These heroes, these Avengers, will have to choose sides. Is Kane or Doom the right guys? They're both villains, but when you're forced between a rock and a hard place, it gets crazy. That is where Loki comes in, and this is a separate film. You can do all these separately, but Loki's storyline from his series also adds value to this plot because he comes in as well trying to help in his own way. But of course, he's seen as a villain. So all these confusing elements are happening while Captain America and Iron Man, well, Captain America specifically, doing a lot of things. We're going to stick to Iron Man visuals and breakdowns, but really think about Captain America being the catalyst, trying to bring back the stones and trying to set everything right for the so-called sacred timeline. The truth is, maybe Captain America is the villain because the sacred timeline destroys the multiverse. And so there's a whole nother conversation. As you're battling Kane, you find out he is manipulating and controlling things, and you see Doom wanting to take over everything as well. All of these villains are happening, and the crazy part is that Iron Man, being who he is, and if you know Iron Man, he's a very, very meticulous guy. If you go back in time when he was younger in his early days and somewhere before Infinity War, he wanted to put a shield around the world to protect it, as he said. But the truth is, he created Ultron and all this extra stuff that happened. And it's because even though he had good intentions, sometimes good intentions aren't enough. So we'll go down the rabbit hole where when he does create time travel and the moment that he figures it out, instead of giving it, and like we see in the film where he ends up showing up to the Avengers offices and says, "Hey, I figured it out. Let's do time travel together." He actually individually decided to travel back in time. And this is where the film, again, the second part of it, it's a big reveal later. Wow, he actually went on his own in a big adventure. And we get to see this adventure and we get to see all that he's doing. And there's a lot that he uncovers, which he's the first to uncover Kane and Doom, which is himself. And the reason why it's himself is because the younger version of him was very close to Doom, creating weapons of mass destruction, being somebody that wants to have full control, but in reality, the intentions are pure, but his actual behaviors weren't matching that. This is where Kane and, of course, Doom, their manipulative behaviors also mirror the same thing. Loki seems to be the only one that wanted true freedom and allow the multiverses to live. But even Iron Man would say no. He wants to protect his family and protect Earth. And this is where these battles start kicking off. And of course, Captain America, being the guy who was set to fix the time stones, becomes a villain. And this is basically Civil War all over again, where Iron Man is in time travel trying to stop Captain America. And this is just one of the many plots that are happening in the film, but I believe that this could be a very good catalyst to what the future holds. Tony Stark, if you really pay attention and watch the series, we can relate to him. But, you know, everything that they've done, a lot of mass destruction weapons, a lot of selfish behaviors, and just recklessness in his youth. And again, just like all of us, we have good intentions, but sometimes it's not always so good. And you look at He Who Remains, who the original kind guy, who was kind of a manipulator, still isn't good. Everything in the Loki series, which I'm not going to go too deep into, but was a lie from him. And you don't know what to believe in that series. I know it was a great series, but everything he told them, while it was true, some of it is manipulative. And so how do we believe it? Iron Man will snuff that out in 2 seconds. And I believe he knows, he'll know better. And that war will begin. The issue is, again, just like in Civil War, Iron Man and Captain America's butting heads on what is best for society, for the world. And, you have so many people pushing and pulling. The government's going to say, no, don't do this, don't do that. So this is kind of a covert op that Iron Man will be in. He'll be manipulating time itself. And this film is supposed to actually be about the torture that time creates. If you kind of remember Doctor Strange and having to rewind time a million times and manipulate it in different ways, and then you see what happened to Doctor Strange, his evil. That's the same thing that happens to Iron Man, aka Tony Stark. In a different world, he gets so out of hand from the very start. If he finds out that there's multiverses and there's all this extra stuff very early on, you thought he was obsessive. Think about how he would be. Found out all these truths, what it would do to him, and how he'll turn into Kane or Doctor Doom. Here we go. This is the real villain version of Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. And it's not too far-fetched to believe, that the universe itself and all of the other heroes will be the villains and the heroes, if you guys get my drift. And who's going to be on whose side? Of course, that's a fun game to play. The issue is we did have the Kane issue where Loki and Kane created something special, but it wasn't enough. Okay. And it's changed because of a lot of unfortunate situations. I do believe Kane should have been the focus, and then have Doom come in as the bigger threat on top of Kane. So maybe they'll do that, maybe they won't. But the point is, this is what it looks like could be special. Okay? Iron Man isn't the hero you know and love, or is he? Because in the comment section, subscribe, of course, to show love. But if you comment and you state you think this is right or wrong, for example, the Loki scenario, deciding fate for people. We've loved the film so much, but in those films, the sacred timeline is pretty sad when you find out that all these other universes are destroyed because we wanted our sacred timeline. And as we saw Hulk find out about the sacred timeline and how you can create new branches and all this extra stuff, it's like, who are we to say who lives or dies? We're becoming the villains that we supposedly hate. So when you look at Doctor Doom, who's creating his own world, it doesn't make it right or wrong. It'll probably be a great 10-year movies of Doctor Doom's universe, right? Secret Wars. He'll end up creating this multiverse combination, a blend of everything all in one place. That's a cool films. If you give me 10 years of the X-Men, Avengers, and all other heroes possible within the MCU, that would be crazy. And so give me that film for the next 10 years. And maybe I'm the villain in this story, because that would be amazing to get that world for the rest. And that is what Marvel looks like they're going to be doing. It looks like they're going to want to have everybody together for the rest of these stories. And it makes the most sense. Now, as you see, Kang wanted to control things, and he kept the sacred timeline for whatever reasons. And, you know, this film can uncover what that is and talk about it. Now, this isn't a Doctor Doom film, okay? This isn't even a Kang film. And this is just the Avengers, right? The two main characters, Iron Man and Captain America, dealing with Doom, Kang, and each other. Because who's right in this story? How do you right this ship? So I'm not here to play the game about, you know, what I think would be justice in real life. This is a movie. So the multiverse part combining to me is the best outcome. And I do believe that'll be the end after Secret Wars. Then everything will be just like the things that I saw in, for example, X-Men animations. Back in the day, I seen Captain America and Spider-Man and others in the X-Men universe. That was a cool time. And I do believe we'll get that. So I'm not here fighting against Doom. I'll let him win. Combine the worlds, buddy. Please do. But in the end of the day, how these stories play out is up to you. Meaning, yes, Iron Man is trying to do the right thing, but is he correct at what he's going to do next? I don't think so. And same thing with Captain America. He comes back in the end game and he's like, you know, I'm done. Here's a shield. I don't think I want to talk about it. And then he leaves it casually. But in reality, he basically pruned off many universes and many characters' lives just to save his own. And, I mean, that's something I think we'll all do to protect our families and things, but it doesn't make it right. And you look at guys like Spider-Man who suffered so much. I mean, I honestly kind of really sad the way Spider-Man was forgotten and he's sitting there in front of the girl he loves and just walks away. I've done that thing in real life with family and friends, whereas certain things are just sad and you're heartbroken, but you rather not, you know, antagonize, basically. But those are harsh realities in the real world. And the reason I bring that up is because Tony Stark's a vicious man. If you look at we love him. And for anybody who's in my comments mad about me making these so-called heroes villains, they were villains the whole time. And I'm so sorry. This is honestly, when you look at it, you know, there's certain things that happen that are not okay. And it can make it so Kang and Doom both are more correct and more justified than our heroes. And then later, once our heroes find out we've been the problem, what can we do? Then they have to make a decision. this is where the new universe begins. Maybe they'll sacrifice themselves and say goodbye to us forever. You can always keep Doom around. You can always keep, a version of Captain America, somewhere in a multiverse. But that's it. We'll get a new kid that is the superior version. And the next 10 years, 20-year run will be with him. I love all these actors, by the way, so I'm not here to replace them. But, gracefully leaving is better than just having bad films just to keep your favorite actor in the film. That's my opinion. And so they've created some beautiful moments. They've had their time. And there comes a point where it's like, okay, we can't write them in the proper way with meaning. So we'll see. I will say, this Loki angle could be very special. And I'm just curious on how the multiverse will end up spanning in a positive way, where it's a shared world with Doom set up, and I don't think it should be destroyed. I think that would be the best outcome. Doom. If you disagree, that's totally fine, but I wanted to kind of give y'all just a quick summary of some of the script and some of the elements. To be honest, the main thing with the script is painting the heroes who have good intentions and they time travel, realizing maybe we are the bad guys. We've been doing so wrong. We've been doing everything so wrong. We have to right this ship. And then they fight their way to that, dealing with Doom, dealing with Kang, knowing that they have also been on both sides, the good and the bad. And that can be where the moral justice decisions come into play. You can still make the movie Doom right after, have the second element of that, where Doom is just ruling and you need all these other heroes and the X-Men to come in and destroy Doom and all that cool stuff. And you go into Secret Wars right after. But the film is supposed to be going back to Captain America time traveling, and also Tony Stark when he discovers time travel. He goes alone secretly before telling anybody about it. This stuff is all probable. It would be amazing. You can still keep all your favorite characters in there, whether it's Doctor Strange, Loki, all these people who have been building the multiverse. They will be a part of this storyline. Then you have the two villains who aren't always wrong. They have some justifiable things, where Kang wants the sacred timeline to continue and Doom wants to create his own. The crazy world out there. But I do think it'll be fun. You tell me, what do you think would be best? And I just wanted to share my thoughts. I'm honestly truly inspired by this series, the MCU. I'm also a fan of the DCU. We're not here to start a war, but maybe I'll do a video about that for the foreseeable future. But this was something I was truly inspired by and took some time and wanted to share. Maybe, we'll see some of it come true. Have fun with it. All right, make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all take care, stay blessed.